the city of angels is black and gold. You are listening to the Heart of LAFC podcast. And now, Joseph Zacher.
Greetings, Los Angeles. Welcome to episode 373 of the Heart of LAFC podcast. That's right, we're calling this one Playoff Ready as the boys enter another campaign to win the MLS Cup. And of course, before they can make that happen, they got to give us some lovely drama, give us an amazing moment over the weekend, and let us laugh at our rivals for one entire week before we have to actually take things seriously. So it's been a good one, I must admit. Of course, we didn't know who we'd play in the playoffs, but thanks to the drubbing that Vancouver gave to Portland last night, yeah, we're taking Vancouver on, the guys that we always play for every tournament. Why wouldn't we play them again, right? It's meant to be. It's meant to be. So there we go. Of course, we can't really preview a playoff and talk about all the fun and shenanigans over the weekend without Bam, without Araceli, or without Tony. So the crew is assembled for you guys. Bam is ready to go. Not on the road, as you noticed. He's with us. Bam, how are you feeling now that you're actually on site?
Yeah, feeling all right. It's a nice Friday. It was a nice, beautiful day here. So looking forward to the weekend. I've got an action-packed weekend coming up. I'm not happy that we're playing Sunday your time because it means it's a Monday my time, so I'll be at work during the game. But, you know, I'll find a way around to listen to the game, catch highlights at least and all that kind of stuff. But it's been a good week at work. Last weekend was nerve-wracking, that's for sure. My new watch had my heartbeat going up and down, going crazy. So, yeah, looking forward to getting into it.
Yeah, one of the few times where I'll say checking your phone in the North End is encouraged. It was worth every little bit of excitement, I must admit. It was one hell of a weekend, I must admit. Just because that was special. We don't get any moments like that crazy. But dude, best decision day ever. I'll just leave it right there. Araceli, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. As you guys know, Next Pro's playoffs officially kicked off last weekend. So it's just been consistent on the go every day practically, which I mean, can't really complain too much about considering their season is significantly is still shorter than MLS's. But of course, with both playoffs now kind of going parallel of each other, it just that additional stress. So I'm hanging in there.
And then giving Saturday and Sunday games to it as well. We're now completely mixed in. With the second division, it's pretty wild. So thank you again for covering. And of course, we'll talk about what's happening with the boys there too. Of course, Tony back there with I gotta say, that room looks flawless, my friend. Dig it. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty well. Like I said, it was like a whirlwind of emotions throughout the whole day. Like everyone can understand that one. Doing well, excited for the playoffs and see how this goes moving forward. Because first round is again MLS going to MLS and make it interesting and cash grab. So home field advantage doesn't mean too much in the first process of this game.
Yeah, 3-game series nonsense is back. Welcome to feels like 90s MLS with this nonsense, but here we go. So we'll talk about that too. We'll cover the goofball playoff format and get you all caught up. Of course, the weekend, what a weekend. We had to play San Jose, our old friends from the north, not so friendly friends from the north, coming into town to try to wreck things for us, let's be honest. And bringing some supporters along the way. That's a little surprising. They actually had a couple numbers there. So, a couple dozen, we'll say that. But they came out to play. They came out taking this very, very seriously, as we expected. They've got pretty much nothing to play for in the standings, but everything to play for as players to figure out what they're going to do next. This is the moment for them. And, of course, being a spoiler is always fun. It is. Cost is minimal. But hey, if you make it happen, it's huge. So that's what they did. Came out to play spoilers. No real shock to their lineup, of course, as they came out. They came out with a 4-2-3-1. Shocker, right? That's what they do. Ebobisse was, of course, up top. Adding in, they had Marie, Lopez, Espinoza as their attacking midfielders. Grueso, Uel, holding things down in the midfield. Wilson, Rodriguez were their center backs. Acapo and Costa were their outsides. And Danielle got back into the lineup. So, they repeated who they put in goal for this one. And we went with the 3-4-3 as we kind of expected too. In this case, Lloris was in goal. Chanot, Long, and Segura were holding it down in the back. O'Brien and Tillman were lined up together as your defensive mid setup. Palencia, Campos out free on the right and left. Giroud, Bogus, Bouanga up top. So the Giroud experiment continues for this lineup. Of course, Bogus in the form that he's in made perfect sense that he would be in the lineup. Of course, things didn't quite go the way we were expecting it from the kickoff. A little bit maddening, I'll say, for the first half. And this is where I'm going to hand this one over to Tony. Lowlights of the first half, sir.
Pretty much it was it seems like we were playing off the edge and everything, and like we weren't there. Like the energy wasn't there in the stadium in the beginning. It seemed like, again, 10 years, as we talk about this, because it was a 10-year of just COVID. It's like the first part of the 10 years where we start off slow and then just move in quicker. But in the 9th minute, with a pretty much a mistake by Segura and just passed into the middle, gets knocked back in and into the palms of Paul Marie, and assisted to Mr. Jackson, and puts up 1-0. And we're just like, great, this is how it's going to start. We're just going to have to try to get now 3 instead of 2 goals, because we don't know what the scoreline is until Houston, because we'll talk about that later.
We knew the 2-goal lead, it would have to happen. Pretty much you have to expect that. So knowing that you're down 9th minute in, adding into it, knowing that now that San Jose has this goal, they can pretty much lock down, right? And make it a very hard day for you, and just wait for the counters, which is exactly what they did. Made for a very frustrating first half. Adding in, took us forever to even get our first shot on goal in this thing. So it was a rough one, that's for sure. Bam, your thoughts on that first half?
That first half, their first goal was a miscommunication from Segura passing it to O'Brien. O'Brien didn't realize it was going to him. He kept running forward. Was disappointed to see. I think after that goal, I think that's when we really switched on and started to knuckle down. We as a group knew that we really had to go on and do something there. So seeing what was happening there was really good from the team. And it was just the first half, obviously being 1-0 down isn't the greatest thing to do, especially when we've only had 1 win this season, being down at the break. So hearing that stat, watching the game, was very nerve-wracking to me, going, well, this is over.
Yeah, I mean, it looked pretty, let's be honest, dire. And then making even more entertaining, of course, Houston does get a goal. That gives us exactly what we need. So not only is the carrot out there, right? Carrot and stick, we're not taking advantage of it. Just adding to the frustration. You knew the boys were scoreboard watching as well. They knew it. You could tell the approach to this thing is they knew what they had to do, and it wasn't working out. Of course, go into the half. Yeah, I mean, very, very nervous time. That's for sure, from everybody involved. Yes, we're in the playoffs, but you know what we wanted. And so going into the second half, a different approach, I'll say. Much more offensive minded, much more dialed in, and the chances did start flowing. We were getting what we needed in that second half. It was looking like what we would expect from the guys in the second half. And so, yes, things started showing up. Took until the 64th minute, though, to finally break through. There were chances before then, but we finally got one from Bouanga. Not long after that, of course, 75th minute. Man, Atuesta hit one proper, right? That was beautiful. Bam, your thoughts on that amazing Atuesta goal? That was fantastic.
So I'll admit I am an Atuesta fanboy. From when he came to us and all that kind of stuff, I just put him down as he was a really, really good player. His injuries overseas hurt him quite a bit, but his first touch, that 1-2 with Kaikamara, and he just went, let's go, let's line up, and just absolutely belted a goal in to put us up 2-1. That was amazing. If we just go back a little bit, and it's 65th minute. 65th minute. Full credit to San Jose's keeper. When Bouanga went to pass it across, hits O'Brien square in the face. O'Brien goes down, comes off, and just the scrambling of the defense by San Jose and the keeper, I would give him credit for that. That was an amazing work there. So, but yeah, the Tuesta goal was just an amazing goal. The type of stuff that I expect us to see a lot more, especially in the playoffs, because I think the way that he's been maturing, not only with us this year, he's had some of that grunt that we've been looking for, but also having plays like this is going to be great for us going into the playoffs and for next year.
You got to have a little bit of edge in the playoffs. And Atuesta always offers that. Everybody's always scared because he tends to get early yellow cards, but he hasn't been sent off this year, right? All the complaints, oh, what a risk, what a risk. He still hasn't been sent off, right? And in this game, after that goal, you could tell because it's been a frustrating year for him. He wants more minutes. It's very obvious. He's kind of animated about his approach, right? He needed it. He needed it probably more than all of us. He needed that goal. Going to be really important for him going into the playoffs. That he needed to have that big breakthrough. And so yes, the changes, of course, happened right before then. Kamara back in the mix. I'll say our more dynamic lineup right now was there from that point forward. Seemed that way to me. And then the chances did start flowing. And you kind of felt it was a matter of time, but it took a while. Took a long while. I know during that while we were watching, we had Galaxy apparently tie up the game and then that get called back. So for some of us, we weren't sure that even happened on the callback because you see a split second. So that gave us a lifeline again. And then came Marlon, right, into this game. And it was supposed to be Vela's return, right? The whole poetic, I'm coming back into it. And then we get three in the back wall.
Before we get into that, can we go back to the great save by Lloris in the 87th minute when it was 1-on-1 with the San Jose striker?
The toe poke.
Like the toe poke.
Yeah.
Like, let's just go back to that for a moment. That was just pure magnificent. 1-on-1 with the keeper. I don't care who you are or who the keeper is. You should be scoring that. And just Lloris made himself big, came out, narrowed the gap down. I would have went for the 5-hole on Lloris there, but he decided to go out wide, and he gets the toe poke and just saves it. So that keeps us up 2-1. That goes in. We're tied. We're back in second place.
I mean, we had a Frenchman acting like a French Canadian for a moment there. Perfect toe save. Again, make yourself big. Do what you can, right? Get the legs out there. If you get lucky, you get lucky, and he got lucky. Let's be. I mean, he did the right thing. It was a brilliant save. He did exactly what you had to do. But man, as the attacker in that moment, brutal fail. I mean, that was epic. But we got the job done. He got the job done. He kept us in this game. If that would have fallen, forget it. The dramatics are over. It's done. So, yeah, he got the job done. And, of course, Marlon comes in as an emergency backup due to injury. So we don't get our poetic moment, right, with Carlos Vela. But then we got a more dramatic moment with Marlon, who let's be honest, through all the stuff he's been through to even get to us, right? Ups and downs, the Shakhtar Donetsk stuff, a transfer not going through, the promising career not, like, talking about a guy that needs the moment. He got it, you know. It was kind of a disputed header, right? We weren't sure who gets credit for it because we had two guys in the mix on this thing. It was correct, of course. And then the hugs afterward. We needed it. Everyone lost their minds in the stadium that were there. Y'all know if you were there, because it was proper, right? With this, we had the goal we needed. If things would have held, we had what we needed. Of course, celebrations and all, we know as the game progressed and then the game pretty much ended, we had that torture of seeing, well, what's happening in Houston. And it looked like it was all for naught. All the dramatics looked like they were going to get wasted, as Carson got a penalty VAR call late, 95th minute or something like that. as all of us are, watching on our phones, trying to track it. And yeah, I mean, I was kind of throwing things. I ain't gonna lie. Temper tantrums were real at that moment because it's like classic Carson. And then new Carson, right? That was old classic Carson, right? For the penalty. Then current Carson showed up and blew the game. Doing what they do best with this new crop of players is they thought they had it, and a guy that they cast away, Mr. Steris, in Houston, came flying up, makes himself available for a lovely cross, and does the job, right? Flicks it to back post, shocks everybody, especially all of us standing there waiting to figure out the result. And then we all lose our minds yet again, including the players who were also watching on phones wherever they could find them. And then euphoria takes over at BMO. One of my most entertaining favorite moments we've had in the North End, outside of some massive playoff wins and kicking things off for the first time ever. It was fitting on a day that we were celebrating our 10th anniversary of actually existing as an organization to get a dramatic moment like this. Yes, I know it took something from Houston, right, to get the job done, but we can always get by with a little help from our friends from time to time. And we did, and we finished first. Home field advantage, LAFC, all the way up until the final. So if we do our jobs, conference final, no matter what, would be in our house. To host MLS Cup, though, you would need both Miami and Columbus to tank, right? Blow it. And that's really our only chance in. And then maybe we'd get Cincinnati in our place. I mean, that could happen still. You know how MLS is. Supporter Shield winners tend to screw up even with a lot of help. They'll still screw up. It's just a thing. We kind of bucked the trend when we did it. And then Columbus, honestly, they're the jilted side going, why aren't we in the Club World Cup after all that we've done? And these jerks who don't even have a star in their chest are taking it. So they have an extra edge, which might pull them all the way through to a final. We will see. Of course, old friends also aren't coming along as Philadelphia decided to score on themselves and end their season. So we won't be dealing with them either. So revenge tour over for those guys. Season over. So yeah, really interesting to see how things fell in the moment. Loving every bit of it. Araceli, how are you feeling with this roller coaster?
I mean, MLS is going to MLS, especially now that it's playoff season. All cards are on the table, let's be honest. I mean, I will say, for decision day itself, I did not have a chance to watch the LAFC game, but I did manage to catch up with like all of the highlights and everything. And I mean, we kind of said it last week with San Jose. They were going to come in, hit the ground running, and that's essentially what they did. Now, of course, obviously the second half went our way, which was glorious to watch in itself. And when Houston won that, I may or may not have texted my colleagues down in Houston. So they know we were all celebrating across the country, essentially. But I mean, overall, definitely proud of the boys. And like I said, the playoffs, really, anything can happen.
Yeah, we know this, especially with a 3-game series to kick things off. If you don't get the job done in game 2 as the favorite, it does come back to your house, right? But that's not fun. And if you mess up your first game and you got to go back to the other guy's place, I mean, you've just destroyed all advantage. It's that simple. Someone has to win. There are no draws. There's no goal difference. Someone has to win on the day. That's just how this is going to be. All right. Well, we know our mission. We have to play a ton of games. You got to find a way to leg things out to December since the league wants to take this to December. So that's what it's going to be. And so we get Vancouver. We don't have to. The other beautiful things, we don't have to deal with Real Salt Lake either. So Chicho Arango, if we're going to take him on, it'll be in the conference final too, because they got to deal with the Galaxy if Galaxy gets through Colorado. So it kind of falls into place for us that we have to play teams that we know that we can get results at least at home. Road a little more questionable on some of these teams, but home is a fortress, and so home cooking is always amazing. We'll take it. We'll be happy and move on. And of course, Vancouver is who they are. Yes, they had an amazing game this week, but we have an interesting history with them. So we'll preview that one, of course, in a bit. I do see there's about 6 comments from our supporters. Let's get to you guys. Let's see what's going on with you guys tonight. Let's see who's the first on. Mendo, of course, gets on there, says, "What's up, Black and Gold family?" Mendo also says, "Edouard not only giving us the victory, but the assist to Marlon for the second 2-goal differential." Dude, he had a day. Atuesta had a day, but we needed that from him. We knew he had it in him. I didn't doubt it. I'm a fanboy, just like, bam, like, we just was waiting for this. I've always been in his camp. So, thank goodness. Thank goodness for him, too. Mendo's also mentioning the save. And then Burke in the mix, putting in hard work in the north end, guys. This guy, he's an all-star, I'm telling you. He says, after rewatching the game, Breto's calling Marlon's header is the best. Don't know how or why Marlon was in the spot he was in, but we needed it. Big heads in the box, man. That's what you got to do. You just got to crash it. You got to get the result. So it's what you expect. It felt like a playoff game. It really did. That was beautiful. Mendo says, Tony did not know how to react when the camera was pointed at 32-52 after Houston's goal. To be honest, majority of us were shocked as well. Yeah, I had a good laugh because if you watch the MLS like 360 rebroadcast and they were showing like 32-52 members on their phones just trying to figure out what in the hell is going on. And I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces. Shout out to Rubes over there. He was featured a lot in that. It was hilarious to watch because we were all doing the same thing. We were all in that like purgatory, man. Like we're just stuck. We can't escape from this. We're riding this thing out. It's feeling bad in the moment, and then that goal that was just. I laughed.
See,
I was laughing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's wrong, but I just got hysterically funny again. Yes.
To me, what you guys got to feel the emotions and do is the opposite of Manchester United fans years ago when City first won their title. How like decision day, that game had finished. The City game was still going, so all the fans were on their phones watching that and all that. You guys got to feel that, but the reverse, if that makes sense. You guys got to feel that all on your phones. Yes, you had the watching the footage, and they cut to the woman after they scored their penalty, and we all know what she said. Let's be honest, we all know what she said. She may have dropped the F-bomb there, but like seeing that, that's one thing I love about how all the West are played at the same time, all the East are played at the same time. So that way you can get to that, and you don't know, we're already guaranteed we'll send our young kids out. There's no guarantees in that, which is why I like all games being played at the same time on the final day.
And I like the fact that they separated East and West this time around, right? They didn't put everyone at some midday goofball time. No, West was West, East was East, right? No shocker. And you had to play Eastern teams, and you had to play within your own conference on the last day. It was properly done. The coverage from MLS was actually really good on the day. They did very well. I got to give them kudos for that. They did.
The only time that I would change it where East and West kick off at the same time is if the Supporters' Shield still got a chance.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
That's where it is. When, say, for example, us and Atlanta are fighting for the Supporters' Shield, have our game and their game played at the same time. So that way you got that, if that makes sense. The fact that there was no Supporters' Shield on the line, split it East and West. But if the Supporters' Shield's still on the line, you've got to do both at the same time.
Yeah, you got to wonder if the reschedule. You would think the reschedule would happen if that was the case. Someone's got to play a later day or earlier just to settle this thing. Or even better is, they wouldn't do a third time, but someone's got to shift. That's for sure.
Well, the way I would look at it, went, okay, cool. East kickoff, so the Supporters' Shield spot for the East kicks off an hour later. The West Supporters' Shield spot kicks off an hour earlier. Because then that should be the equal time.
Yeah, so it's like the shoulder game pretty much. It's get its own feature, and then you figure out what the West is going to do after that. And the funny part was the West, it was kind of settled. We knew who was in. It's just placement. The East was just that's wild, man. Like
Yeah.
so many teams
And
that were in it on the last day that just tanked that you didn't expect to tank. Who had Atlanta on their lottery card here that they were going to play against, in the play-in, like, and then get through,
who
right? It's crazy.
who had DC with the Golden Boot winner Benteke missing out, losing 3-0 to Charlotte and not making playoffs?
Yeah, nuts. It's just nuts. Like, and then of course the scenes from DC were like heartbreaking too. If you watched it, ooh, they took it real hard. Some didn't. Some were like, yeah, like Philly was shocked and angry, but you didn't get that like devastated vibe that we saw in DC, which maybe that's a little surprising. I think they thought there was more in their team this year. I think we all did. So, hey, decision day did its job this time. It really settled things out. Good on everybody involved. Now we're ready for this amazing playoffs as everybody's joining the brackets, and except for Bam, he can't. Right, Bam? They're not letting you join.
Yeah. So just for context with people, and fuck MLS for this. Sorry for doing that. But this is what my current screen is.
Not cool. Not cool.
It's like, hello, you want to be global, you want to show the world. Let me join in.
Right? It's jacked up, man. Let Bam play. It's a world's game. Right? I thought it was.
You're meant to be a world league.
Again, highest of highs, and they always find a way to drop out from under. It is what it is. Yeah. We will always have something to say about this league. And then, of course, the rumors that we're going to play in the middle of winter. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. I know. Y'all want to play in Kansas City in December? Who's in for this? So I was just laughing because she knows.
December, I'm not worried about. It's January and February when it's the absolute worst over here. But regardless, it's like
all I can say is that what it will mean is that it will force teams to upgrade the stadiums to have underground heating like they do over in England.
You mean underground heating under carpet?
Yeah, kind of like how the football stadiums have it. The NFL stadium, I know the Arrowhead has that, where the field is heated.
Mm-hmm. You mean some of these owners are going to pay for that?
They would have to.
I'll be nice. Fine. We'll see. We'll see how that plays itself
heated
out.
Fields and roofs on the stadiums. That's what.
Yeah. Gonna happen. Good luck in New England, everybody. I guess they're building a new stadium anyway, so there you go. All right, I like this one, Dave. I'm with you, man. Yeah, we don't like the best of three either. Mendo says Bam called it last episode. San Jose did come out to play a physical game. Drew was roughed up several times. I swear that yellow card in the first half probably should have been a red. That was nasty. But we expected it. We did. Bam was right. Mendo says supporters want Tuesta to thrive and succeed since he was with us first couple of seasons, but then there's fans that have high expectations, not just for players, but coaches as well. Dolo out peeps. That will always be there. That is football. It's ingrained. Things don't go well. Take out the coach. Player doesn't play one game. Who's the next guy? That's how it works. It's a passionate sport, passionate fan base. Expectations will always be high for the black and gold. So I get it. I do. I don't agree with it all the time. Okay, most times, but it's how people are. It's an LA thing as well. Mendo says Bam will not put a sticker over MLS badges on his jersey. He'll put
close.
betting ones on it.
It's close. It's close.
Some VPN company, just so he can play, right? Like we're going there. Yes. And Mendo's having a laugh. All right, guys. Love the comments. Keep them going. Because we will be previewing Vancouver in a few minutes here. Of course, we have some community stuff to cover. And I think we're going to talk about LAFC 2 next. It just makes perfect sense to do so. So, Araceli, I know, being the Debbie Downer here, I got to throw it to you and go, man, LAFC 2 news?
Well, unfortunately, LAFC 2's playoff run ended in St. Louis as the boys fell 2-1 in the dying moments of the match. But there were some bright spots. In the 18th minute, Nick Sullivan scored first with a brilliant finish off of a long pass from Duenas, and his goal actually became the first goal to officially set off the 2024 Next Pro playoffs. In the in the 63rd minute, Brendan McSorley from St. Louis scored the equalizer at close range. And from there on, it really looked like that the boys were going to take this game into extra time, into penalties, and have kind of that saving grace. But unfortunately, right at the dying moment, Mackay Joyner of St. Louis delivered the final dagger off of a perfect team buildup that basically worked the ball through LAFC2's defense. I have to give props where props is due. But like I said, with that, LAFC2's run ended in St. Louis, but overall, I am definitely proud of this team, seeing where they came from last season, where last season they were last, let's be honest. And to make their first ever playoff appearance this year, finishing fifth, is a huge improvement of the club. And they at least they held on. They truly held on. They did not get run over like Ventura did to Tacoma 5-0. I just have to throw that in for a quick second. But kind of moving on from LAFC 2 for right now. Hopefully the boys will now have a chance to train more with the first team. Who knows? Maybe we'll see them, maybe we won't, but at least they will be available. Kind of some Next Pro updates. If anyone is still curious to continue watching playoffs do continue this weekend with semifinals. Philadelphia hosts Crown Legacy. North Texas and Tacoma go at it on Saturday. On Sunday, we have Chicago versus Columbus and St. Louis versus the Town, aka San Jose 2. All the information is on Next Pro's website if you're curious about it. But yeah, I mean, looking forward to the rest of the season, I'm kind of curious of what LAFC 2 is going to do with the boys in terms of contracts, and of course, keep you updated as much as I can.
Thank you for the whole season of coverage. Thorough coverage as always. Yeah, it's hard to see the boys fall short. Again, I'm proud of them just like you are. They took this thing to the very end. It took an injury time goal to take them down. They were in this. We thought they were going to get farther into this thing. They were also chosen by St. Louis in this. Again, pick your opponent. Like it felt a bit like a hatchet job in a way. Like they knew who they were going for. They figured we were the team that matched them best in their strengths, and they got their results. We'll see how far they get after this, because now it's the Town for them. So yeah, it should be interesting to see who survives after this. There might be some surprises from who's left. Looks like there were some upsets, but hey, good on the boys. They had a great year. Now they're all available for the top side for the playoff run. So as we need them, yeah, we don't have to sacrifice anybody. The whole squad will be available. That might be a good thing. It's an extended run all the way to December if we can make it. So, hey, get all the boys on board. Training sessions are going to look a little full, guys. Just how it's going to be. On to the next. We're going to go over, of course, to the Black and Gold Vinyl Club Minute. And you're like, what? What are you going to choose this time? I'm going to dedicate this to Houston. You're like, what? I have to. We did what we did. We got our job done. But sometimes you have to get by with a little help from your friends. So the album this week will be Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Song, yes, of course. The second half of that, Joe Cocker covered it as well. Did really good. You Wonder Year fans, you know. But yeah, we're going with the Beatles. I think it's perfectly fitting. Bam's shaking his head on this. You like it too, right? Good choice.
I do. I was going to go completely opposite with you.
I mean, if you want to throw it out there too, we're celebrating, so you might need a song list, right?
Yeah, for me, just because they announced that they'll be touring in Australia next year in November, and it's a one band that I've been dying to see, and I'm so glad that they've announced it. I was going to go with Ride the Lightning by Metallica, because we're riding the lightning all the way.
God, I was listening to that this morning on the way to work. I kid you not. How funny. But you know me. So nice, dude. Good choice. We're on the right mindset here. I know there was a Eddie Van Halen song that just popped recently because there's a book coming, but we'll maybe cover that the next episode. So there you go. A little bit of Beatles, a little bit of Metallica. We went with the big bands this week. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? So there it is. Which means what? Yeah, we're gonna preview the next match. Would you expect something else? It's what we do. So off to Vancouver after their amazing 5-0 destruction of the Portland Timbers. Come on, y'all love that a little bit. Did y'all love it? I loved it. Let's be real. Max didn't play in the game, so I loved it even more. It would have felt bad if Max was the guy taking that kind of heat, but he got benched for this. I think that's weird, but yeah, that happened. And so they basically destroyed those guys. And if you watched the game last night, it was a drubbing, and Portland just didn't show up. That was brutal. And so yes, Vancouver, after losing their last 4 before that, yeah, playoffs to get a huge win. So they definitely earned their way, I think would be the easiest way to say it. They didn't luck in. They didn't suck out on this thing. Nah, man, they made a statement. They were forced to play in the other guy's house because they didn't have availability in their own stadium, which is also the most MLS thing I've ever heard. You couldn't figure out a way, guys. Really weird, but they still got the job done. And the Sartini comments, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like this guy. Just look at it yourself. I thought it was funny, his response to the coach from the manager from Portland. It was classic Sartini. So enjoy that one on social media. So yeah, we are playing the Vancouver Whitecaps this weekend. An odd Sunday game. Looks like everything is going to be Sundays for us. Probably to avoid the World Series. Let's be real. Dodgers going to do what they got to do against the Yanks. So Tony's not on here. What? He can't even make you guys all mad. We'll leave that for later. But yes, Dodgers are in town, so I guess it just makes sense. They put us on a Sunday to play this thing. 6:45 kickoff, because let's just get weird and do a kickoff time we haven't done all year. Yeah, late Sunday, everybody. So get ready for that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna throw this over to you, Bam, because we always talk about the players to watch. And there was a proper party from Vancouver now that their entire side is reunited and they're full tilt. But one player is really featuring well, isn't he?
Oh yeah, 100%. That's the young Scotsman Ryan Gould. Like as I was saying to you off air, I've been following him since he first made his singing debut back at Dundee United. For those that are unaware, I'm a huge Dundee United fan. I've been following him for years. So I saw him come up through the ranks. I was sad that when we sold him to off to Portugal to play over there, he had some injuries over there and then made his way to Vancouver. So I've always been keeping an eye on him, and he just stepped up with a hat trick inside 52 minutes. Like 2 goals in the first half, got his hat trick goal, in the 59th minute. What more can you ask for?
Right. I mean, he is the total package for them. And of course, it's kind of a Bash Brothers mindset when he gets together with Brian White. It's a show. They're not easy to play. It's difficult to play. This is not going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. We're in for a fight here. The score, you say, oh, you're saying it because of the score. Well, yeah, man. You scored 5. I mean, you have to respect that, especially in another guy's house. But add into it, White's got 16 goals in 31 games. That's a clip. Gold has 13 in 31. That's a lot of goal production from your top boys. And then you add in Fafa Picault, who's been a journeyman in this league. He's been all over, right? 9 goals for him, and he plays outside mid. He usually peppers the ball in. Cut in happens from time to time, but he ties teams in knots. There's no way to say this is going to be a step over or anything like this. Is a battle. It could take the 3 games. I'll leave that right there. It could be that. Is not going to be easy for us. They also, have Raposo. He has a couple goals. Veselinovic, Berhalter's got a couple. Laborda's got some. Here's an interesting that the old man, Damir Krylak, is on the team. He's only played 18 games, got 2 goals. So he did, I think, feature in this last game as well. They've got guys capable. That's for sure. You're looking at the setup, of course. Gauld also had 16 assists. Man, he's just flying, featuring for the Scottish national team as well. Full on international doing his thing. Picot had 6 assists. Berhalter had 5. Go down the line. I think you go down about 17 players total 16 that have featured and got a point for them, at least an assist. So they can spread this thing around and be a little bit of a problem for us. Okay, a lot of a problem for us. Speaking of that 5-0 win, they played a 4-3-2-1 this time. Kind of interesting, kind of holding things down. Takoko, of course, was in goal for that game. Blackman, familiar face, and Velisinovic were their center backs. Laborda, Adekugbe was the outside backs. Familiar faces. We know these guys. Kubas was holding it down in the midfield with Armstrong and Vite on the outside, playing a little lower. Gauld and Picot were your advanced midfielders, but also wings at times as well. It's dynamic lineup. Can go wide for those guys, and then you can drop in central too. And of course, White, your classic targets. This is not a team to laugh at. This is not a team to write off. They are full tilt, ready to go, and healthy. I think is the big story here. Is they're united, they're healthy. There's a belief there, and they've got revenge on their minds because we always find a way to break their hearts. I mean, look at Sartini. He rarely finishes games when he's against us. So it's going to be a hard luck battle of a game. And I don't think the lineup's going to look too much different than that. Araceli, you've seen what these guys feature with game in, game out. They're looking dangerous now, aren't they?
Oh, definitely. I think Vancouver is a different beast this year than we're used to seeing them, especially with Ryan Gauld. Because just watching him alone this entire season, he's been absolutely dangerous. So there's a very good chance that LAFC will need all 3 games. I'm just saying.
Well, if we take the first half off, like we tend to be doing lately with the lineups that we're bringing up, you go play experimental again, feature faces, right? Not doing the best lineup you possibly can. They'll hurt you. They'll hurt you, and it won't be easy to get back against a team like this. I could throw it over to you, Bam, as well. Ignore the progress at your peril. It's not all about you this round, is it?
No, not. You look at it too is, and again, I'm going to throw it back to like Ryan Gould. Back in 2014-15 season, when he was playing for Dundee United, Stuart Armstrong was playing for Dundee United too. We finished 4th in the league. Having those 2 guys, watching them this year, the way that they're playing together reminds me back of when they were playing together then. They just had that connection where they could just go bang, 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 bang. If you don't break that connection, especially earlier on, they're going to hurt you, and they're going to hurt you bad.
Yeah, this is going to be a really difficult game to break this team down, and it's going to require extra attention from our back line, our defensive mid setup. You can't take a minute off. They will hurt you. They will burn you. It will be a full 90. And if you don't show up for that full 90, this is the kind of team that could shock you and end your year very early. That simple. That simple. And it starts with game 1 on Sunday. They have the momentum. Yes, they played a midweek match, which gives a little bit of advantage rest-wise, but they have that thing, right? That belief after this match that can always be dangerous for a team. That can always set you up for a run. So we're dealing with a team with momentum. That simple. Now, looking at what LAFC can offer, it will be very interesting to see the approach. I know we've been playing the 3-4-3 mostly. I would suspect it might be that again. Bam, do you think 3-4-3 is going to be the story, or are we going to get a little more defensive with this approach?
3-4-3. We're just going to play them how we've been playing lately. If you want to look back to it too, the last time we played them, which wasn't that long ago, to be honest, when we
with a lot of missing players. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even then, we still had the pretty sure we still had the 3-4-3 lineup then too.
We did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It went high. Yeah. So I know the lineup will be nothing like that lineup for either team. Right? That game was a wash. You see qualities of players, yes, but that is the lineup for either team. Just isn't. It just is not. So say we go with a 3-4-3. Lloris, of course, is in goal. Chanot, you'd expect him to start. If Long is healthy, Long starts. Who's next to these guys? Are we looking to Marlin at this point? Or are we sticking with Segura? Bam, what do you think?
I'm going to say we will be going with Segura.
Holding down, right? More
Yep.
defensive minded. Okay. Araceli, what are your thoughts? Is it Long, Chanot, Segura again?
I would say it is. I think being on the defense would be the best start, at least for this game.
There we go. Now here's the hard question. Who are your defensive midfielders? O'Brien's been playing a lot for us at this point. Tillman has also featured a lot of minutes. But of course, we have Ilie. And we know we all love Ilie. And we have Atuesta, who did what he did last week. So you have some hard questions to ask yourselves. Who are the two that win on the day? Who's the feature for this? Araceli, who are you going with first?
I'm going with Ilie and Atuesta.
Ah, the classic. I'll call it that because that's old school. Bam, are you thinking the same thing?
Ilie O'Brien.
Ooh, totally defensive. Totally defensive. I'm going to say different. I'm going to say Ilie Tillman, just to mess with you guys. Right. Again, your options are there. I would love Atuesta out there, but I don't think he gets to start. Tillman, though, offensively, right? The return, the passing, the response. I kind of see him needing to be out there, and O'Brien is featured crazy. So, yeah, it might be a Tillman O'Brien situation. We shall see. I would see that might happen, but I don't know. It's fun having these options, that's for sure. The outside back situation, I think, is kind of settled for me. Plenty on the right, Hollingshead on the left, but I think we might get some debate over Campos. Any supporters of Campos here over Hollingshead for this match?
Not for this match. I reckon maybe for the return leg, but I think to start. But for this match, I think we'll go and make a statement this match that we are here for the win.
There we go. Again, consensus, I think, on this one. Now, up top, the controversial setup, right? We know it's Bouanga on the left. I'm thinking, right? I think we know who the right's going to be as well. It's Bogusz. Why would it not be Bogusz? But now you have your center forward situation. I think we're all expecting it to be the Giroud situation, the experiment. Just call it that. But now that Tony's on, I'm going to throw him on the fire here. Giroud starts. Kamara starts. Who's your center forward?
Giroud starts. Unfortunately, that's the fucking. Sorry for the French. That's the go-to. Unfortunately, that's how it goes. Like we don't play any better with him on. There's a different aspect to the game of it. You see it. You saw it in last game. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to talk about it, but that's how it is. You know what I mean? And yes,
yeah,
I get it. Like people have said, and like I've heard conversations about it. Like Kamara has been here since day one, and like the flow. But it's like by the time, but Giroud's been here long enough and with enough games. Like mind you, it's not just been regular season. There's been U.S. Open Cups, the League Cup as well, to make up for that lost time. And he still doesn't understand how people move or stuff like that. He still plays his own game, which is good. Which is still a good game. Let's be honest, but it's not what the team needs.
Yeah, it's angering me. Now it's the playoffs, right? You can't afford to screw up or go 0 shots for a first half because, well, it is who he is. If we have a 0 shot first half, I'm very worried. Beyond worried. This is bad news. Bam, do you think there's a chance of Kamara getting in the starting lineup, or we're just sticking with the experiment? Yeah, it's tough.
To me, for someone that we're paying base salary of 2.8 million, guaranteed this year of 3.675 million, score a fucking goal, please. Do what you have
I'm
to do.
asking. That's your job, or at least set something up. Come on.
Yes,
That's like
your base
asking
salary.
Vela to get minutes.
Dude, I don't think we're going to see him play any minutes. I think it's done.
Mind you, though, and just going to throw it out here because I looked it up recently. We're paying Vela $375,000 this year.
Yeah. You got to show up,
like, yeah, he does show up. Like, for me personally, and as I said, I looked this up. Marlon has deserved his $1.35 million this year.
Did what he did, right?
Yep. So, Giroud, you're getting triple that. Do something, please.
Yeah, not in cup tournaments where it wasn't really relevant anymore, like garbage time stuff. We need a playoff goal. I mean, I can't see any other team in this league putting out a guy that's struggled to score in your playoff round. Just because one day it's gonna work. I think it's nuts. I do.
Mind you, that being said, though,
But, yeah.
I'm glad we got Kai Kamara to be able to come off the bench to replace him. If you're gonna have any player to come off the bench to replace Giroud for not scoring goals, you want Kai Kamara,
the second all-time leading scorer in MLS. Yeah, it's nice. Who's still producing to this day? So that's also an experiment versus the second leading scorer in MLS history, who's actually hot right now. He sits. And would any other team be doing this? Like, it's weird to me. Araceli, I'll throw it back to you. I know we all know it's going to be Giroud starting, but are we making a mistake or putting ourselves at unnecessary risk by doing this?
I mean, let's be honest. When it comes to this league and games like this, it's always going to be the name game. You're always going to go with the player that draws in the bigger crowds. And in this case, that's Giroud, unfortunately. I mean, wishfully, we should be having Kamara, even Vela at this point, but that's just pure wishful thinking at there. But I see it being Giroud, at least for this match.
I see him for 45 to 55 minutes. And then we, I guess, fully perform from that point forward. But yeah, I think that's what it is. It's just how it's built at this point, and we'll go from there. Should be interesting. Again, if we fall behind, we are in trouble. This is a playoff game. Let's hope they figure it all out together. I know the rest of the side will be fine, but they've got to figure a way to figure him in without overdoing it and messing up the speed that this team can produce when everybody's on the right page. So there is that. See about 9 comments from the supporters here. Here we go, guys. Let's see what you have to say. All right, so we go up here, and we have Mendo talking about LAFC 2. Says they've improved first year. Coach Gonzalez as well, not bad. Yeah, we are all impressed and happy that they got this far. We want more, of course. Oh, Mendo gave us a song too. He wants "Call to Arms" by Man of War. Yeah, there we go. That's fun. Gio in the mix. He's just calling it 5-2 to us. He's thinking we're going to return the 5 favor for them. That should be fun. He says we're not Portland. There you go. Meadow says we may not get a clean sheet, but LAC offense has many options and will be too much for the Whitecaps. It should be. I agree. Defensively, they aren't the greatest. That's for sure. Lunch Special Giosa says 2 from Bouanga, 1 from Hollingshead, 1 from Kamara, 1 from Giroud. Finally, I hope. I pray. Again, we're all hoping for the best for him. Just, I don't have patience, man. Too old for patience. Mendo, rather have Ilya and Timothy as starter, a twist off the bench. So there you go.
I agree with that. Having a twist come off the bench, I think it's a perfect for him.
There you go. Yeah. Mendo says, is it true Vancouver's home field would be elsewhere? I mean, they lost the last one and they couldn't play at home for the last playoff match.
So I've just gone through MLS website, jumped on to buy tickets for the Vancouver home game, and it is at BC Place. They're selling tickets for. So, I think the most expensive ticket I found is 185 Canadian dollars, which is like their first class experience with premium seats.
Yeah, we have friends that have done this, gone on the road trips over there and got that premium because you're right behind the bench and all, and it's really cool and it's super cheap. So it's fun time.
Oh no, the super cheap, the behind the benches is $161 per ticket.
Pretty cool.
Canadian, so
pretty cool. Enjoy the
be
road
worth
trip. In style, y'all. There you go. Let me see here. Mendo, of course, wants to see Kamara on the headers. I like this from Mendo. He said that Kamara suggested he might return with us next year. Why would he not, man? The man is ageless. He is. He puts in the work. He earns that. He is who he is. Yes.
I would take him for at least another season, because you look at it going, even if he doesn't get much game time, the wealth of knowledge he'll be able to pass to LSU2 players coming through, it just sells itself.
The personality of the team once he came to us has changed. You guys notice it too, right? There's a lot more fun, I'd say, a lot more unity than I've seen teams in the past. This team looks tight. I think is one of the reasons for that. He's kind of the glue. You can tell with a player that the locker room aspect, the leadership from him, we got to keep him on. I'm with you guys all the way. He's been amazing this year. Dave's with you, Bam. 2:45 Central European time. Start times are brutal. So he's with you on this one.
Welcome to my life for the EPL.
Y'all getting up so early, but shout out to all you guys for doing it, though. You're on point for that. Well done, gentlemen. Well done. And I know you'll be tuning in for this playoff game. So there it is. I was going to try. I know it's a work day for him, so it makes it even worse. So, yeah, there goes that. So there are the comments from our amazing supporters, the LAC faithful, of course, coming in clutch. Mendo, he does have one. We can answer that. We can jump in that. This is, which tournaments will LAC play in next year? CCC, Open Cup, Leagues Cup, and MLS. That's on the slate. We earned it by winning Open Cup. So, and actually finishing runner-up in Leagues Cup got us that too. So, multiple ways into the show. But yeah, those are the ones that we're scheduled to. I don't know if we'll be in Open Cup next year, since MLS does weird things and keeps teams out of a tournament. So I hope we'll be in MLS Cup to defend our belt, right? We earned this thing. But MLS is going to MLS. I'm not sure we're going to be allowed to play in that tournament. Sounds terrible saying it that way, but it is what it is. Hopefully we play. One thing we know, it won't be in the Club World Cup, but let's be honest, that just became a sham after the last week's announcement. So I don't care about that. I'm going to go on vacation when that's happening. There goes that. Maybe Japan. We'll see. Messing around with you guys. And there is that. So well done, everybody. Guess what that means? Our final assessment on this bad boy and leading you on the way to have an amazing time this Sunday supporting the black and gold. So on that note, let's get to our final thoughts. I'm going to go with Tony's final thoughts because last man in, you know how it is. He's putting in the work. He's doing a thing. And dude, he was a rock star in the North End this week. No doubt about that. So Tony, your thoughts, my friend?
Be safe tomorrow. We'll say that. If you can avoid LA, avoid LA as if you're not going to be out there. But overall, have a good, I think technically it would be the Halloween weekend, this one right now. And unless you want to do Day of the Dead weekend, next one, but just be careful out there, drive safe, call an Uber, call a Lyft, you know what I mean? AAA if you need to, just be safe out there so we can see you guys Sunday and then bring that same energy we played on Sunday and just get the first win, and then hopefully just make it a 2 and out. That's it.
How it should be. Well said, sir. Araceli?
Final thoughts for me. I mean, as I've said this entire season, with another home game, Please don't be stupid. Stay safe. Always have an alternative plan. And of course, just have fun. And I mean, just this weekend alone, Tony kind of already alluded to it, especially with tomorrow. My God, I am praying for you guys. Definitely be safe out there for this weekend with everything going on. But again, most importantly, just have fun. And I just need to plug it in very quickly. Next Pro semifinals, if you guys are interested in keeping updated with it, we have 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. Check out the site for all the information. And that is it.
Thank you, Araceli. Yes, as we prepare for the sporting equinox Armageddon weekend. So much fun, but it's worth it because of who's playing, and LA sports it's euphoria at this point, since everybody's taking the field and getting on the ice and doing their thing. Bam, I go to you, sir. Your final thoughts.
Final thoughts for everyone over there: stay safe. If you are up late tomorrow night / Saturday morning and you've got nothing else to do, I'm going to say it will be a 2:45 a.m. kickoff, maybe 1:45 a.m. kickoff. The Melbourne derby is on, Melbourne City, Melbourne Victory. So if you do want to watch some football very early in the morning, tune into that. It should be a good game. Second game of the A-League season. So teams are out there trying to get as many points as they can. Again, mental health is a major thing. Conversations can save a life. Whether you're a Yankees fan or a Dodgers fan, just be a good person. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. And yeah, just go Yankees.
He threw it out there. as Tony, as you see down there, is wearing that Yankee cap. Yeah. My team just enjoys misery and selling amazing players away or letting them walk away for nothing. So that's just where I'm going to leave it with my team. We love the game, I guess, but not the results. Same with Bam's team. He's not going to say who it is at the moment, but
I know.
at least
I'm happy. I'm a Giants fan. Buster Posey's taken over, so I'm looking forward to see what we can do. There is a reason why I'm a Giants fan. It's because they lost to the Dodgers at my first MLB game I went to, and I thought we'd go for the underdogs. That's why I go for them.
I mean, historically, that's the third wheel anyway. For appearances, it's the Yanks, it's the Dodgers, it's the Giants. So at least you get that. At least you got. Maybe they'll come back to their former glory. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, to everybody heading out this weekend to Los Angeles and all the sporting events, have an amazing time. Do your best not to spend your entire life savings this weekend, because it's very tempting to do so if you look at all the games happening all freaking weekend. Man, LA traffic is going to be fun, even on Sunday. Get there early, people. I'm going to say that. It should be a great time out. Again, 6:45 kickoff, fan fest and all. It's the playoffs, guys. Get out there. Have a good time. We'll see you out there. And of course, what do we say when we leave this show? Tony, final word?
Stay golden, Los Angeles.
Araceli?
Stay golden.
Bam.
Stay golden.
And for me, to all of you, stay golden, Los Angeles.
Thank you for listening to the Heart of LAFC. Make sure to leave us a rating and review on iTunes or Stitcher. Shoulder to shoulder, the black and gold is taking over.